All right, what's going on, guys? So in this video, we're going to go ahead and show you how to delete records out of REISift. Now, again, I want to emphasize the difference between lists and data. Okay, so data is the physical record that you're uploading. Okay, so for example, inside of a drive, if we were to go into a list here, now let's just say this list, this row right here is considered a piece of data, right? We have a first name, a last name, the property address, and so on. All right, so that is the data. Now, let's just say, for example, I insert a column here and I add a column called lists, and I say that this one row is a part of high equity, and it was also tax delinquent, and it was also on the evictions list. So if I were to say, hey, this one row is a piece of data, and this piece of data is associated with being eviction, tax delinquent, and high equity. So if I wanted to remove eviction from this list, I would simply come in here and I would just remove it, right? It's that simple. That's removing a list from a record. But if I wanted to delete out the whole record itself, I would right-click and I would delete, right? In Excel or Google Sheets. That's deleting it, and now high equity and tax delinquent also lost a record, right? Because I deleted the whole thing out. So let's go back to REISift and explain this in greater detail. So if I click on this record right here, this record is on two lists, so I can see that. I can see it's on pre-foreclosure and tax delinquent. So if I wanted to delete this whole record out, let's go ahead and click on our list page here and notice that tax delinquent has 2,056 and pre-foreclosure is at 1,064. So let's come back over here and let's actually delete out this record. Delete, apply, confirm. So it's gone now. And we go to my list and notice that pre-foreclosure went to 1,063 and tax delinquent went down to 1,055. Because I deleted the physical record out that was associated with one or more or two or more lists, it went down by one. Because remember, this list page, all it does is it says, hey, out of the 10,164 records in your account, there is 45 of them that was on the two-stack list. There's 189 of them that are part of the evictions list, and so on. I do not allow people to delete data from here. If I click on the trash can, it's not going to allow you. Why? Because there's a certain amount of data, just like the one we just deleted, that is a part of both of these. And in the back of your mind, you might be thinking, oh, I just want to remove the tax delinquent list. Well, if you want to remove tax delinquency from all your records, then you can just go to your records page, right? Select them, all that data, and then just remove the list tax delinquent from all the records, if that's what you wanted to do. Now, if you wanted to delete out all tax delinquent data, that's a different story. That's actually deleting the record. And if you didn't care what list it's on, then you could just delete the data out. So the only time you'd ever want to delete a record or delete data out is if you want to delete the address. Okay? If you want to remove a list, then that's just a matter of selecting, all the data that's associated with that list and just removing that list from it. Now, if, for example, we have a tax delinquent list and we only have the records that are only on the tax delinquent list, and we removed the tax delinquent list from all these, all of this data would still be in here, except for it would be on zero list, for example. We can edit this record and remove this list from here. I'm just going to copy the address here real quick and save it. And we're going to search by that address real quick, and we're going to notice... see how we filter off the tax delinquent and search that address again. Notice how it still has the list in here, but it's not associated, or the record, but it's not associated with the list. Okay. Hopefully you guys understand that concept. Now, if I want to delete this record out, notice also, by the way, that our list page went down by one again because there's one more record, one more data set that's no longer associated with tax delinquency. Okay, so now if we filter by that record, we can actually just go ahead and just click the trash can and delete that record out. Now if I search for it again, let's just go back to the records page and just search for that record again. It's no longer in here. That address is officially just out of the account. And if I go to my dashboard, I'm now, instead of 10,184, I'm down to 10,183. Okay, so it's the difference between deleting the address and the data from my account compared to just removing a list from it. Okay, so if I wanted to, if I wanted to remove evictions from my account, I could say, okay, cool, let me go in here and let me filter by the evictions list, and I only want the data that's only on evictions. Let's just say I wanted to delete all the eviction data out. I wanted to remove any records that were a part of eviction and so on. Well, if they're only on eviction, so they're only on the evictions list, period, then I could just select all these, actions, delete, apply, because these are only on the evictions list. Okay? But if they're on the evictions list in other lists, right, we don't want to remove the data from evictions that's on multiple lists, right? Because we don't want to remove the multifamily residence lists. Multifamily residence looks like what that's pre-foreclosure, multifamily residence. We don't want to remove this data, because if we remove this data, then we're deleting out data that's on other lists. And our goal is just to remove out all eviction lists. So we say, okay, cool. We're going to delete out the actual records that were only on the evictions list, which we've already done. And then we're going to come up here and we're going to say, okay, if it's on 2 or more lists now, we're just going to select those records and we're going to go to list and then remove from list, and we're going to remove that evictions from here. So now it's going to remove the evictions from each of those individual records. Okay, so now evictions should have no data on it. So if we go to our lists, we're going to see that evictions is now at 0. Okay, and now I can delete out that if I wanted to, because it's no longer associated with any data. The same thing with 2-stacks. You know, if I'm on the 2-stack list and I'm only on the 2-stack list, cool. Well, I no longer want 2-stacks in my account. I no longer want the actual data that was associated with the 2-stack list, period, in my account. So what I got to do is I got to say, okay, 2-stack list, let's filter by it from 0 to 1. And let's go ahead and select all that data, and I want to just delete it out. I don't want those addresses in here. Okay, confirm. It's going to delete all those out. Now I want all the data that's on the 2-stack list and other lists, but I don't want to delete these out because I don't want to delete out the data from the multifamily residence list and the pre-foreclosure list and so on. So we're just going to select these and then do list, remove from list, and then the 2-stack. So that's going to remove the 2-stack from all those, but we're going to maintain the record in here because that record was also on other lists. So now we come in here and we can see that now the 2-stack list isn't associated with any other list. So that means that we could utilize this name and just rename it something else, like let's just say our buyers list, right? We can name this anything we want because now it doesn't have any records associated with it. So there's no, no association there to reference that list name to, or we could just delete it out. Okay. So I think that covers pretty much everything. Hopefully that makes sense. How that kind of works, right? You have a piece of data and then you have the list. And if you want to delete the data, you can just click on the trash can. And again, whatever list this is a part of, multifamily residence and tax delinquent, right now we're at 2054 and 1063. And inside of our account, we have 9958. So if I delete out this record, it's going to go down by 1, 2053 and 1063 now, and this is going to go down to 9957 because now I've actually deleted that record, which means I deleted the association with that list. So it removed one more full record out, and now there's one less record that's associated with the 2 lists that it was on. So hopefully that makes sense. It's a pretty straightforward process, but sometimes it can be a little confusing because most of us are used to saying, okay, cool, this is a multifamily list. I just want to delete out the multifamily. No, because that multifamily list could be associated with other records or other lists in your account that you created when uploading, because now you have one master list. You have one big list of 9,957, but there's a certain amount of those records that are associated with either one or multiple lists, right? And we can visualize that from right here, or go to our records page and see, those records only, which we're going to show in the next video. Hopefully this helped out. Thank you guys so much. This is all part of understanding, how you can manage your list to create those buckets we were talking about previously, to really build out really extensive marketing campaigns and narrow in deeper into our data to create really, really awesome ROI in our business. So thank you guys so much. See you guys in the next video. Peace.